Thank you, members, for allowing the short delay in the meeting. This meeting is being recorded for the publication on Thatcham Town Council's YouTube channel, for those who'd like to hear it. We'll move to apologies for absence, the first item number 1.
Thank you, Chairman. Apologies received from councillors Mike Cole and Jeremy Cottam, and councillor Val Watts appointed as substitute for councillor Cole.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 2, do we have any declarations of interest on the items before us this evening?
No.
Thank you very much. And item 3, little 1, take and not read and confirm the accuracy of the minutes of the previous meeting. I take it members had had a chance to browse. Okay. And for the clerk to approve the minutes for the requests, feedback, any matters arising from the previous meeting.
No updates from me, Chairman. So
perfect. Do you want me to sign these now?
You can do them now or later.
If I do them now, then that perhaps allow members to turn up. So
now we do just need the vote on that one, Chairman.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah.
To adopt the minutes.
I'll propose.
Seconder. And those in favour of adopting the minutes. Thank you very much. That was the only one I didn't ask about voting. Now, where would you like me to sign? Just at the bottom of?
So yes, it's initials, bottom corner. There's a full signature on that one.
The
11th.
Oh.
And then just initials on the remaining pages, please.
Got one leaf, or do you want the both leaves?
Just the front is fine.
Yeah. And moving over to item number 4. To receive and note the income of expenditure.
It's a slightly different report that I've pulled together this time. You'll see the front 2 pages are a sort of overhead summary, and then the detailed report behind them. And I've also included a report explaining any significant variances. If there's any additional questions, happy to respond to those, but hopefully we should be addressed in the report at the back.
It just give members a second to just refresh themselves. Okay. So if we take it the very first page where we have the double, it says A4A, the first page and overleaf. Does anyone have any questions on anything there? Okay. Is there anything you would like to bring to our attention that's not in the report?
That's not already in the report, Chairman.
Okay. Moving over to the more detailed breakdown, to page where the top says page 1. Please stop me should anybody have any questions. Page 2. Page 3. 4. Wow, we must be doing good this evening. Page 5. 6 and 7. Okay. And then we go overleaf. These are the notes. That's everything on item 1, is it? Yeah.
Yep, that's all.
Little one.
4A, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, A, because you've got Roman and, yeah, okay.
Just
Okay.
to say they were helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't need to vote on that. We're just receiving and we're going to note. And moving on to 4B, page 1. Sorry.
This was a new report that was requested at the last meeting, just to highlight the vandalism costs. So this is all vandalism expenditure across all cost centres.
Yeah, I noticed that the lock where we get our board from, that had been
Yeah,
damaged.
Yeah.
And, so it's now a pin code lock rather than chain.
Yeah. As a new chat to the council, is this normal if you know what I mean,
Yes.
the sort of numbers, the range,
yeah.
there's nothing
Seem,
outstandingly untypical.
no,
Okay. It sounds like a funny question, but sometimes it's a funny place to get. Vandalism was over there where last year it was here and that, if you see what I'm saying.
no, it's quite general, really.
Yeah.
I just wondered how you sort of defined it, because I wondered if someone broke that lock because they thought there might be something in there worth stealing, which seems more sort of criminal than vandalism. Do you know what I mean?
We would class that as vandalism.
Right, okay.
Basically, if it's not maintenance, it's damage that's been caused.
Right,
We
okay.
class it as vandalism.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether intentionally or unintentionally.
Yeah,
I
okay.
suppose that's maybe more the, yeah. Okay. Do we have any other questions on 4B? Okay, again, we don't need to vote on that because we're receiving and noting it. But that was helpful. Certainly, Councillor Cotting.
And again, is that, sorry, is the play areas vandalism quite on track with what normally?
Yeah, is what we're at, £5,000. Yes.
Okay.
If we can reclaim through insurance, then we do. But obviously there's an excess, so you've really got to weigh up whether it's worth claiming.
Is that the one, the 1,400 claim, 299 claim,
Yes. So that's
bit of claim?
we had the insurance money in for that, but they will class everything as an individual incident, so you couldn't sort of
Wow.
group a few together. Each site is classed as an individual claim, so
The excess is excess.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, but we have insurance for this purpose, so
Yes.
that's why we spend to cover. Okay, right, any other comments on?
Nope.
4B? Okay, thank you very much, and we'll move on to item 5, Romans 1. Again,
You want me to introduce?
Yes, please.
So these are basically just two maintenance items. They are highlighted as medium high risk. So it is something that we would look to be reacting to. But our financial regulations stipulate that any expenditure over £1,500 needs committee approval. Hence why they're on the agenda. There is sufficient budget in the reactive maintenance budget to cover the costs. So it's just seeking that authority in line with financial regs.
yeah, yes.
I'd like to propose that we agree that.
Absolutely, it's perfectly reasonable. Just to help members, there is a behind the scenes, not quite behind the scenes, but there is a review of the levels at which things need to come to the committee. So that's been undertaken. It hasn't been done for a little while, I believe, and that we have looked to other councils within the Berkshire area for examples of their levels of spend that before it has to get to members. It will probably hit the council in the next 2 to 3 months at the latest, would you think?
Yes.
Yeah, and that will allow a little bit more of devolved decision making. So we don't need to constantly come back. Obviously, we'll still be monitored through a normal budget process, but it just means there's less paperwork coming up through to the system to ask for. Which is, you have to update your processes and systems every now and again.
Yeah.
And this will be one of them in the future. So, can I have a proposer, yourself and a seconder, please? And all those in favour? So that's agreed, thank you. And again, I believe the Dunstan Park pay area is exactly the same issue.
Exactly, yes.
And again, it's the medium to high risk, and why wouldn't we try to maintain our children's play areas to the best of our abilities? Absolutely. Proposer, and we have a seconder. Thank you very much. And those in favour? And there's no one against, that's carried as well. Thank you very much, members. We are trotting through this quite well. We're really nice to get around. The other councillors to be able to get here in time, but they may have arrived just as we're finishing. But hey ho. Okay. Moving on to item number 6. The minutes of the Environmental Working Party. So, yeah, meeting 11th of September is in the agenda. Page 81 on this, or 6. Romans 1, yeah.
Yeah.
I take it members have had a chance to, again, just run through. Was there any particular things that members would like to bring to the attention of the committee?
Just thought it was very interesting to read all of.
No, absolutely. There's a lot of work goes into this, and it's good work. It's the sort of thing that a council should be doing in this area. It's absolutely, and not everything's going to cost a lot of money to do.
Yeah.
Some of these things are almost habit changing. Change your habits helps, that kind of stuff. Is there anything you'd like to add to the?
No, thank you, Chairman. No.
Okay. We have to adopt the minutes. So therefore we have to vote on that.
Yes, please.
So could I have a proposer? Thank you very much. And a seconder. Thank you very much again. And all those in favour of adopting the minutes? Thank you. That's for September and November, just to confirm. Thank you. And again, another fantastic report on Romans 2.
Yes, this council resolved a few months ago to work towards plastic-free Thatcham status. And we are working with Jenny Kirby on achieving that status, and Jenny sits on the Environmental Working Party. And the last meeting of the Working Party, she presented a draft charter for the Town Council and hoped that the Working Party would recommend it to Council for adoption. And they did. It was very much welcomed and supported by the Working Party. So it will go to full council for adoption as a sort of council-wide policy. And it's obviously based around eliminating single-use plastic. So I've just put it on the agenda. Obviously, this is the parent committee of the Environmental Working Party, but just for information, really, that this is what will be going forward to council for adoption.
And just for clarification, is the parent committee, we can recommend adoption? Or would it actually,
yes,
that would be not unreasonable?
That would be a good way for it to be presented to council, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. Do members have any comments or points you'd like to make on this one? Okay, could I ask that we recommend to the full council that it be adopted? So that's a motion, so I would need I would propose that. Would you second that? Okay, and therefore can we All those members in favour of giving a recommendation to approve. And that sort of double endorsement sort of thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's just reconfirms. Okay. Romans 3, and again, this is to note. But see.
Not been on the call, so.
No, not a problem. Your apologies were noted. Sorry.
Yes,
yeah.
the last meeting of the Environmental Working Party, we had a very interesting presentation from a lady from Newbury and Thatcham Repair Cafe. And they are hoping they would like Thatcham representation on their advisory group. I'll put it on the agenda if anybody is interested in that role. It would become one of our outside body appointments. But just to make members aware that that opportunity is there if anybody's interested. They hope to launch in the first sort of 3-4 months of next year.
Okay. Do any member currently have a burning desire? Okay. Well, we can note this, but we can ask members. Perhaps we could circulate by email to members if anyone is interested.
Yeah.
With a rough dates and diary to sort of, so at least they could, you know, I hate to say squeeze in another thing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Better to be willing than be shoehorned. So again, we're just for your information, we're on item 6, Romans 3.
Another one.
Okay.
And I noted that there were fewer signatures than there are people, councillors present for signed in that.
Oh,
That's not a problem. Yeah, and we'll just pause momentarily for a moment so that Owen can join us.
He was on the same call as he walked and I drove. I simply had that you drove, that you walked.
Well, welcome to our new two colleagues this evening. I've tried to go quite reasonably slowly. But we're still.
What's the memo about Christmas jumpers tonight?
I know.
Christmas jumper.
Yes. Oh, very festive spirited of you
The
all.
last time I was asked for a festive jumper was in September for the recording of the Christmas edition of Live at the Apollo.
Okay. Okay, so we're just going to note item 6, Romans 3. Okay, and the clerk will send an invitation to members of the broader council to, if there's any interest in perhaps. And if it's a bit late in the year, we can always be promoting this for next year's as well, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. And item number 7, to consider and adopt. There we go, the Youth Working Party.
Yes, this was the first meeting of the Youth Working Party and a very good meeting. I don't know if Councillor Adamantos wants to add anything, but it was a very positive meeting.
yeah, I think we've got a plan in mind, way forward.
Yeah.
That's good.
And we've also got potentially someone to come on board as well.
Apologies, you are chairman of it, aren't you?
Oh, no,
This
no,
is
no.
there. It's-
No, I just remember it was a good meeting.
Yeah.
The actions, the survey, but yeah, I think it's someone to come on board as well, which would be quite nice. So the next, so it's a lady who she's got an interest in. She wanted originally to try and see if she could do something with like soft play. She's noticed the niche market, and she just wants. She's got an interest in being on, anything happening with the youth. And I said, well, actually, as an outside, but a bit like obviously what Richard Foster does and other people in their committees. So I think I'd emailed round to see if we could do that at the next one. see if she.
Okay. Well, thank you for that update. Okay, we're going to adopt, which means we need a proposer and a seconder. Thank you. All those in favour of adopting? Thank you very much. And item 8, we will need to agree this, but perhaps again for a brief introduction from the clerk.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I'll shoot straight down to the pictures and you can see what the issue is. It's quite a long-standing issue and you can imagine what that's like when it freezes in the winter. So we are quite keen to try and address it as soon as possible. The trouble is, you need to start the work to know what the actual problem is, but we've had it assessed by 3 different contractors now, and they have all given a limit, an estimated limit of up to £5,000.
Okay.
But once they start digging, then they will know better what the problem is. We suspect it to be collapsed drainage beneath the surface, which has caused the surface to drop. So whilst I can't present an accurate quote, we are very confident that 5,000 should be sufficient to rectify the problem. So.
Okay, well that's absolutely, okay, that's clear. Should well investigative work is being done, is there time and committee space for this to be, oops, we need more to get back? When we're looking to start the work?
As soon as, so if approval for up to 5,000 is agreed tonight, then we would issue the instruction straight away. We could add to that the caveats that if once work commences, it's more, then we could delegate authority to perhaps yourself and the chairman of F&GP to consider any additional.
Because if it were to be started, stopped, and then oops, we've run out of budget.
Yeah.
We have to wait 2 or 3 weeks, and it's a well-used area, and it should be. Would members be comfortable with that? Okay,
Happy to propose.
happy to propose that. Could we have a second? Thank you.
Otherwise, we'll start charging tickets for ice skating.
I was thinking maybe just let's get in there and freeze it a bit more and make it our ice skating rink.
So
A very short term.
would it helpful to put a figure on it and just leave it open? What do you think?
Well, if we say, if members are happy to say approve up to 5,000, any additional expenditure approved by chairman of R&A and F&GP.
Okay, then that should cover. I mean, if it's fingers crossed. Yeah. Okay, I hate the idea for things to be unnecessarily delayed.
Yeah.
Through
Because we are.
committee structure.
That wording is what I proposed.
That's well done. Okay, so all those in favour, show. Thank you very much, members. That is agreed.
It's the next one that's the fun.
No.
Churchyard.
Moving on.
Are we going from one thing that's not horizontal to one thing that's not vertical?
Absolutely. For those new members, and of which I am one, this has been rumbling in the background for some considerable time. In fact, there has been previous work done a few years ago now by the Priory Wall side of stuff as well. Through the summer, I did a walk around just with a builder's hat on and came to a conclusion. And just to refresh my memory, I did a walk around about when I actually went to the wrong, during the festival, I went to the wrong graveyard. I went to do a walk around the graveyard and I went to the wrong graveyard. So while there, I thought I'll just have a walk around the walk. So it turns out it was quite handy. The report, those members who have read it, is accurate it's really is as simple as that. If I'd have written it, I'd have put in more spelling mistakes. I'd have said exactly the same thing, for sure. The main point for members is the report clearly states there is no immediate danger of collapse.
Doesn't look like it.
But it is something we have to address, whether it's in one fell swoop or if it's a rolling programme and things like that. But I think we're going to agree with the general principle. Well, I think we have to receive the examination so we can note the report, but we'll go into it in a bit more detail. And we can note the quotations. But my suggestion to members this evening is that we put this into our budget programme, and it should form part of our rolling maintenance programme, which we have sort of agreed that it form part of. Because there's things we know we're going to have to do. If not this year, it'll be next year and the year after. And it's prudent for us to start putting money aside for those rainy days, and this may just be one of those cases. Would you like to say anything more on that?
No, I don't think so, Chairman. No, nothing more to add.
Yes.
I agree with you. I'd like to propose one immediate action because there are a number of dependencies that the report identifies on the costing. One of which is whether the wall is considered part of the listed building of the church. And that should be a relatively, because that affects the ability. That should be a relatively straightforward question to answer from West Berkshire Council. So can I suggest that we ask the clerk to ask that question to the council? I think the other one about the legal responsibility, we are pretty certain about, unfortunately, because we spend a lot of time trying to avoid that and been unable to do so.
Yeah. There was a sub issue, is that we would have, there's a consideration should be when we start works, there may be some unfortunate earthings, if you understand that. What would be our, what do we do and how do we do that sort of? It's more a case of thinking about it now before we have to think about it then. What would be the church's position and things like that. Again, we have time to just have a little think and contact the right sort of people.
So I don't think anything's gone in, anybody's gone in there for a long time.
No. I think it's 100 years before anybody can really do anything from the last interment and such. But it is more about what's the process. These are residents of past residents. What's the process? Should we? So I think that's really the question I'm asking, that we maybe need to do a little background work on what the process.
That sort of work is included in the quote. So this whole project was going to be outsourced to Bennington Green. And that sort of investigation work was part of their remit, which is
forms part of the report.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just that we're. I think it's just so that we can show the public that we're sensitive about this sort of stuff, and we are alive to the potential issues now. So we had. Yes. Go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say that the bit that really did leap out at me was the fact that they're saying that they are not thinking that there is a likelihood of dramatic collapse of a bit of the wall, and that surely that's the bit which gives us the breathing space to say that we can. I think the idea of doing it over 4 or 5 years is entirely sensible, totally reasonable and rational. And if you go to page 12 of their report, the identification of burial locations, this is where they're making the comment. Careful consideration needs to be given to the requirements of survey to get relocation of graves and remains. And if we are starting this and we're doing it over a 4 or 5 year period, then they themselves are saying that getting all that sort of thing sorted out is an early part of the process. So even before they take a brick out or put a brick in, actually, demand suggests that that we speak to the diocesan authorities and the church authorities, etc.
Yeah, absolutely.
So getting that bit done is presumably step one.
There's too many graves near the wall.
It's
I'm not.
a diagram of what has been there. You are
Oh, yeah.
like
The church has been there for think about end of 1,000 years, and that's
That's
where people
going to be
are buried.
really worried about it.
I think it's us people who'll be really worried about it.
We had something done at St Michael's, and they've got all these bones in the sheds. Nobody broke into it. Oh, that must have been a horrible shock.
yeah.
They weren't really deterred, obviously.
No, yeah. I mean, but I just
They were old ones.
So actually, it's likely that what is found is remains that have been disturbed when the wall was built rather than complete.
Yeah, a complete, yes.
It is not an unreasonable chain of thought. Yeah, absolutely correct. But yeah. So what I'm suggesting is we note both, but that we look to put this in as part of our routine maintenance and program it in. And there's a list of things we have to start doing anyway, which aren't overly expensive. Yes.
I was going to say that the report says there's no immediate risk of collapse, which also probably means that we would see further movement before there was. So occasional walk by with the help of this report would give us a advance notice of anything that might require urgent attention.
There was a suggestion in the report that we go for full listed buildings and all that. That'll be part of the
I think it's a question that we can be asked very quickly, and it'd be useful because it would tell us a little bit more about what budget we might expect.
Absolutely, absolutely. So members are happy that this be moved over, and then we consider it as part of our budget process. As everyone, all those in favour? Yeah.
Chairman,
quickly.
I'm most definitely in favour of that. Do we need to have an additional thing that instructs the clerk to get the thing on? I mean, I think all this liaison with diocesan authorities and whatever. I think that's the legal bit that we need to get going straight away.
I think that's what the work is going to look to do, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, so what we're saying is we're going to do it,
Yes.
and we're going to go down that road, and there's no additional work for the town at the moment, except that it becomes part of our budget process. But we inform the appropriate people that as and when the budget is set, then we can effectively green light it from there. Is that correct?
I guess that one quick thing for the clerk to inquire about.
Yeah, it's about the listed, the curtilage, I think is the term, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't curtilage a lovely word?
It is. Okay, well, thank you, members, for that. That was
It's measured at the top or the bottom of the wall.
no, a bit of the whole wall.
Oh, it's really detailed.
Okay. Moving on from that to item number 10. Now, I believe Owen has a particular interest. And if memory serves me correctly, Owen may have a certain interest in it, but the people who currently are long-term lessees, that's the term, lessees?
Lessees.
Lessees, my apologies, have the responsibility and decision. But just, Owen, before we move on, yes.
If I may, literally there are the two separate car parks that they were hoping to use for park and stride access. Park and stride, if there is anybody who doesn't know, it is literally the idea that maybe you're coming from 2 or 3 miles away and you have your little one with you in the car, you stop the car and then they at least walk the last 200 or 300 yards, probably with you or as part of a crocodile or something to school. So they're getting some walking out of it. And it also then means that your car isn't blocking up a residential road.
Yeah.
So this is specifically targeting Francis Baily. The two car parks in question are Thatcham Town Council owned car park on the Dunstan field, and the other car park they're looking at is the one which is a part of the Old Blue Coat School. The Old Blue Coat School is owned by Thatcham Town Council, but is leased on a 99-year lease, which is about, I don't know, 9, 10, 15 years in, and has a board of trustees, one of whom is Jeremy Cotton, is appointed by this council. And you have a complete dichotomy, and that is that I'm hoping that this committee tonight is going to say, absolutely, please, let's put our car park into the park and stride scheme. They, West Berkshire have said that they will provide a bit of money to ensure that the service is okay, and if lots and lots of vehicles going in there, they will cooperate and make sure that they don't leave us out of pocket for any normal maintenance. Old Blue Coat School trustees have had their meeting. They have made a resolution. They have decided they will not be participating in the Park and Stride scheme, and it's not an issue that we've got. We've got what's it called? Yeah, we've got no skin in the game. The trustees make their own decision. They've made their decision. Have a Park and Stride. They are going to find that they will have parents parking there and their kids walking to school from there. But
there won't be a formal.
It won't be formal in the scheme.
Okay.
Not very big.
Thank you. So I recall this from when it was discussed previously in 2021, and it seems to me to be a very complicated solution to a very straightforward problem. So it appears that the West Berkshire Council would issue permits which do not give priority to any particular parents and do not prevent any other parents from parking there anyway. But because they do it formally, they only want to issue the number of parking spaces for a 45-minute period. So particularly in the morning, someone will drive down, park up, the children will leave, and they will leave the car park within 5 minutes. So the unofficial capacity is therefore 9 times the number of permits. So the main effect is for West Berkshire Council to become involved in something which I think would probably work far more effectively unofficially.
Thank you for your input. I'll get back to you in a second, Owen. Do members have any other input they would like to do before I go back to Owen? Yes.
I just wonder what the reason was that they didn't want to participate, the trustees.
Ask Jeremy.
Is it going to cost them money?
No,
No.
It'll cost them money because people still park there. I think.
Yeah, but it's not.
These comments are on the side and are not part of the meeting. I think they're being very foolish, but that's their decision.
We move on.
Go back to the previous report. There is issues about liability, about their ability to restrict parking should they have an event at the time of children arriving or departing. And there's a question about the wear and tear on the car park as well. But let's say it's a very complicated thing where people to some extent do use the car park. I suspect that the parents of Francis Baily pupils are not stupid and are aware of the existence of this car park and can use it. By the way, Hartshill Road is also unrestricted. So if there were to be a day when the car park is full, they can pull up temporarily on that road as well. There's no traffic regulation in order to prevent them from doing so. So it seems to me a very, very complicated thing, which is thought up by someone who wants to set up a process where the lack of a process is probably deliver be more effective.
Okay. Now, I think your point's well made. Can I ask Owen, he seems to be quite knowledgeable in this respect as far as the enthusiasm to do this. Why is it strategically important for part of this Park and Stride that you get, even if it's loosely near it's bring them in rather than have them out. Is that the sort of general approach that they're?
Have a bit of walking, take
Yeah.
The crucial bit is if I can correct Simon on one detail, and it is not that West Berkshire will be issuing any permits at all. The idea is they will tell Francis Baily, you can issue, you've got 8 permits or 10 permits to issue, and then they can actually nominate individual parents, and that the idea then is it controls it a bit. The whole concept is just to sell the idea of park and stride. The reason that I am involved directly is just that Francis Baily is in my ward, whereas it's actually Thatcham North East, which has got the car park in it. But that's by the by. But the reason I'm involved is that it is the prohibition of parking experimental scheme that is taking place on Skillman Drive and so on. And that caused a certain amount of excitement and hiatus when it first came in, because West Berkshire.
I think I was hinting
in a very
direct,
output way.
Hold that thought, please, Ben.
Yeah, no, I think I was just about to say that it will help, because obviously I went there as a capacity of a teacher, and obviously the rules I had to put on the letter to the parents: don't go down Skillman Drive, whether or not the cameras or what, I don't know. But then cars were parking down Falmouth Way, and actually this thing here during the day, in the morning and the afternoon, would actually help for the purpose of the children going to the school. I've just seen the 4 points about the replacement of the railings and the school flashing signs and the scooter storage. I think more children locally are wanting to do these things. The cycle training is important as well. But yeah, it's interesting being on one ward and not another ward. I mean, I would be one happy with it.
Simon.
So I would encourage, I'd be quite happy for all these things if they're effective. I just think this one is not effective.
Yeah, it brings me to my chain of thought. I'm all in favour of the principle, and I don't think anybody's disrespecting that. But the unintended consequences of the introduction of that scheme that caused such disruption to local residents. Could I suggest, and I'm not quite sure if this would work or not, we agree to do it in principle, but we review it perhaps this time next year, just to make sure that we don't have any unintended consequences, and that it wouldn't seem unreasonable.
I think this is actually, well, the thing from 2021 said it was going to be for trial anyway. 3 to 6 months. I think there's one question I would have is, has the school been consulted? And are they happy about the process of identifying 7 to 10 parents who would be privileged to have this?
That will come. It's a separate issue for us. I don't think we can actually go down that road.
To ask whether the school.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as the timeline goes, is it saying this is for a trial period? Do you know enough information?
When
for
it
members
first came to
that was in 21.
Yes, then it was for a trial period, 3 to 6 months. I would imagine it's.
Do you have any further information for the committee, Owen, that would help us?
Well, we've now got the experimental prevention of parking in the road going into Francis Baily. That's actually in process, and that will be due for a review in not incredibly very long. I think they do the review in January to see how it's been working. I mean, I went down there about 3 or 4 times, morning and evening, or various mornings and various evenings, to see how it seemed to be working, and it seemed to be working pretty well. That was in the good weather. It was still sunny in September, but it did seem to be working well. this is just another element of.
Absolutely, part of the jigsaw, yeah. I'd like to final comment.
Yeah, I'd like to make a proposal,
Oh,
in light of this, that we agree to the scheme, to the scheme managed, subject to confirmation that the school has been consulted and is content to administer it.
yeah, and that we review it in 1 year's time.
Well, no, it's 3 to 6 months, so it'll be after the.
That doesn't say in the report.
Yeah, well, can we assume that it's the same period that they were originally proposing? Because I think they have reminded us, so I believe.
I think the first one was due about 3 years ago.
Yeah, but the paper that we had is from 2021, I believe.
Isn't that? No.
Are you able to clarify if the existing proposal is 3 to 6 months?
I can follow that up.
And then if it's not, then we would time limit it to a year, which would give us enough time for the summer anomalies and the winter anomalies to run its course. Then if that's the proposal from Owen, can I have a seconder, please? Oh, that's
Subject to that confirmation.
absolutely, it's subject to the additional part. All those in favour of the motion, thank you. There's no one against, and that is, I believe, carried for that. And well, thank you for that. I thought that might get a little bit more complicated, but members were very helpful there. Item 11. Towards the rear of the back of the agenda. Again, if I would just. His hand is up.
Aren't we putting up a recording?
The hand is up, and I'm hoping that people are in a good mood, because it is going to be a mildly amusing comment. But some people will remember Richard, what do you think his surname there? Former councillor.
Cromley?
Crumley, Richard Crumley. Richard Crumley would, as soon as he came to this page, it would be. Are we spending a whole £19.23? And without Richard Crumley, who is there? And I did have a look through. I did have Richard Crumley. I've got no problems with any of them. But that doesn't mean that other people won't have.
Stationary pens.
Stationary.
£7.69.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but we need to be live to these as issues. And well, some of the figures are not extremely high. Some of them are
Cleaning services.
yeah, I mean, it's just important that members are aware, because it's the sort of thing that members every year or two will go, well, how much do we actually really spend on? So this is as much to keep members abreast of updated information. And of course, as each committee has its own costs, and it does collate up to the full council's total agenda. But if members have again.
No, I'm just saying, is it, the inspection play areas, is that the annual HAGS one? On page HAGS SMP. Page 3313.
So that's the fortnightly inspections that they do. They also do some maintenance for us as well, so.
That's.
If you want to make your fortune, go into great maintenance of Children's Play.
Yeah, I know.
It's astonishing. I know, and make the equipment. Yeah, sorry.
What are Santa's little helpers?
Oh, I was one of them.
Which, what's the name? Hey,
Farms to You Mobile Farms.
Oh, that's
It's like Santa's little helpers.
based
that
on
has the mobile farm
based in
on the green at Christmas lights.
Oh, okay.
The donkey and.
based in Compton. near my
Yeah,
school.
and it was very well received.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
smashing. Well, they don't be
They're great.
Yeah, yeah.
Ship them home.
And the town council managed to organise a blizzard as well. I was very impressed with this.
Came and went straight away.
My wife came running up and said, "There's snow." And I said, "Didn't you read the report from the clerk? She promised snow."
It's very realistic.
Yeah, it was
so,
really good.
yeah.
So I was, yes, and lots of lots of the public actually come up and said it was thoroughly enjoyed,
Yeah.
and it was good. It was my first full Christmas.
It was very
Uh,
cold, but
It was.
It was very cold.
I think my wife had only one minor comment was, where was the mulled wine stand?
That was Royal British Legion. Royal British Legion.
And non-alcoholic as well.
Yeah, well, that was a first mistake. Yeah, no, absolutely. But, okay. Do any members have anything else to raise for this item? Okay, well, we've done remarkably well, and I do thank those members who made the special effort to get here. It was helpful. And
if we could just vote to
yeah,
approve.
sorry. I've entered the Christmas already. Okay, seconded. And all those in favour, please show. Thank you very much. That is our work complete for this evening. In case I don't see you beforehand, have a jolly time.
Brilliant.